That's fine. I'll just share it.
Okay, that's
When
perfect.
when we're done, I'll share it with the email address that I put in the calendar. So you'll get it
And
by
of course, I
Google Doc.
also completely understand that, like, if you need to do an abridged version, if you have to go at two, I know I gave you a
No, no,
50-minute
I've
strange
got
beginning
nothing
date
going
and
on. I got nothing going on. It's fine.
okay,
We'll go as long as it takes.
okay, whatever you want though. Don't feel like you owe me extra time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have my drinks here too. Actually, my water is
How,
cleaning. Oh,
okay, so how long have you known about typology for?
I would say like, I mean, I've always heard of Myers-Briggs, but it didn't mean anything to me until maybe a couple years ago. Maybe a couple, yeah, I don't know. I'm a therapist, so I've like used it in a really inauthentic way before, kind of like, oh, let's why don't you take the test and then we'll have something to talk about because like if you feel like you're pulling teeth or something, gives you a little something, but way too much info. No, I don't know. How did I guess I just heard about it. It's almost like Myers-Briggs is one thing and then like the real function stuff is another. So the interest
Yeah.
in the real function stuff would be 2 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also didn't really get into it until I discovered the function stuff. I encountered MBTI briefly in my early 30s, but I just sort of read some type descriptions and that was it. And then years later, I learned about cognitive functions. Like, why didn't they mention this before?
Exactly. I feel like that's like the only thing that really matters. It's just, I don't know, very interesting. Everything else
So,
seems either boring or fake, like in the psychology world, but this seems not boring and also I think it's real.
yeah, it seems right. It
Yeah.
certainly is intuitively resonant. It's not so well established enough, like in scholarly literature form, but whatever. Um, so, do you think that talk therapy is? You see people like, are you informing? Are you giving them words they haven't thought of before, and that helps them?
You said words that they haven't thought of before?
Yeah, like ways to describe their situation or ways to think about it that helps them process it better.
Yeah, I guess. Erica, I it just happens. I don't know if I really thought about it in that way, but I would imagine that happens. It's almost like I have amnesia after the sessions because I am just really there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so I guess it is. You know what? It's the easiest job for me because I can just do it with my eyes closed. Like because it is just no different than anything. I mean, maybe I wouldn't like get on the phone crying the way that I just did with you, but like um somehow I've been able to just make this work for a really long time, just not planning and um just authentically connecting, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Okay.
And
So
it's
let's
not
say
that I'm just like there being like, yes, I connect. But like, actually I do a lot of advice stuff too and all that. But I guess it's hard to really pinpoint what
okay,
different
so,
I do.
so let's say somebody in a therapy session tells you a sad story of them suffering from some kind of abuse at some point in their life. Does that haunt you? Does that stick with you, or are you able to just compartmentalize or just let that go?
Um
Or what?
okay, sorry, I just want to play with violence. If they told me like a really horrible story about something that they went through, you're saying?
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the client because I would say some of my clients I like genuinely just love, because that's okay. I really think that's okay too. And then other ones we're just like, you're not that great of a person. Like, and it's not that I'd be like, haha, you got abused. That's great. Like never, ever, ever. But like, I just think it's dependent on how connected I am maybe to the person, because otherwise it would, you know, it, if you're not really connected to someone, then you don't really know them all that much apart from like a name in the headlines or whatever it is, and even if they are your client, if they do sort of seem like, you know, just I really can't explain it right now. I'm a little bit nervous, but I guess just if
You
you
think
really
you
know
have to
someone's
like
an
them?
amazing person and didn't deserve it. Not that anyone would deserve it, but what was that?
Do you think you have to like them?
I do. I literally
Make
there's
them
that
feel
like
heard.
I'm so sorry I didn't hear you. What was that?
Make them feel heard.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the other thing. It's like why not? Because actually like you said before, everyone is horrible and wonderful, and people that are a little horrible are also definitely usually pretty wonderful in so many ways too. And it's not. I know it's not that simple, but yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I do actually like all my clients. I don't know if it just once I talk to someone, I can't not like them. You have some empathy for where they are and who they are, and some space
I
for
think
it.
I think largely there's an epidemic of people feeling as though they're not being heard by the world. You know,
I'm so sorry about our connection. You said largely there are people. I'm trying to put my ear closer. People who aren't heard by
I
what?
think there are a lot of people who feel as though they are not being heard by the world.
Okay. So you're saying just people who might want to be able to like connect in a way they heard by? What do you mean
Well,
by heard by?
I don't feel very heard by the world a lot of times because I disagree with some various stances that people generally take on things.
Oh, I don't care
And
about
then
stances, by the way. That was just an easy way to say it before. More, it's like the French phrase, like je ne sais quoi, kind of like quality to someone.
I'll just tell that person,
You would
okay,
be too
well, you're very,
honest.
very straightforward. You need
Yeah.
to tell your wife you're a cheating scumbag
Yeah, I
and
think you'd be
let her
helping them more
divorce
than I think
you.
I'm doing damage to the world by being the way I am in a way. I think that I should just give them your number. Actually, I wanted to know in general if I can sometimes refer some of my clients to you
Sure, sure.
for
That's
typings. Okay, great.
totally fine. Um,
I'm sorry
so,
I interrupted you before, though.
oh, that's okay. You don't need to worry about interrupting me. Everything you're telling me is information, you know.
Oh,
Okay, so
that's
can you
true.
talk to me about your relationship with procrastination, task completion?
Um, okay. Should I tell you now or when I was in school about?
Um, Both. Start with school.
Okay, so I started taking ADHD medication maybe when I was like 25. Um, and my husband, who I still knew at the time, and he was very surprised at first that I would need it because he didn't do well in school and I did. And like I would never, if someone's watching me, I would never like, you know what I mean? I wanted to be a good student and I didn't want my teacher to be mad at me kind of thing. So I would give, I would never be late with assignments or anything like that. But it was more from like people pleasing, I think, than, yeah, I just fought the urge. I was horrible. I mean, I'm not an organized person. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would get the job done and kind of mask ADD types of tendencies that I have.
Okay,
But I
let's
definitely
say,
am a
let me
procrastinator.
give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario and tell me how you deal with this scenario. Okay.
Okay,
So
sure.
you've decided that you would like to go out and get some fast food drive through, maybe Taco Bell and McDonald's, something like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Whatever kind you want to get. And you
Okay.
tell your husband, you say, hey, I'm getting pretty hungry. I'd like to go to Taco Bell. And he goes, okay, well, I'm totally down to go with you, but I'm not in any hurry to leave. So whenever you're ready to go, just tell me and then we'll go. How long are you, what's your thought process? Is it, let's go now and get it out of the way and done? Is it like, okay, cool, then I can chill for a while and wait until I
Mm,
feel ready to go
okay.
or
I
something
would
else?
not. Okay, so the question is kind of like about would I want to just enjoy the ambiance of Taco Bell for a long time, kind of thing?
No,
Just
no, it's like you've decided that you want to go get fast food from a drive through. You tell your
yeah.
husband, he goes like, that sounds good. But I'm not, I, the husband, am not in any hurry
He's
at
not
all to leave.
hungry.
He's not in any hurry to
Oh.
leave. He's leaving it all up to you to when you actually leave. Do you go, let's go right now and get it out of the way? Do you end up waiting hours until you feel more ready to leave or something else?
Um, so do you want to know what would happen in all reality between
Sure.
us? Um, I think I would say please don't come because I'd rather just like listen to basically like your podcast in the car and just have a little alone time. Um, I love my husband, but I don't know. It's just hard to talk all the time. And we have 2 children that are kind of young, so I think I would tell him to not come because I'd like to
Okay.
just listen to and not talk. But I guess
Right.
if the question was
Right.
more about, yeah,
You have timing. So he's not coming. Fine. You tell him, I'm gonna at
mhm.
some point in the next 8 hours, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. Is he I'm getting hungry, but I'm not starving right now. Are you gonna go
Oh, okay.
towards the very beginning
Hmm.
or towards the end of that 8 hour block? Or is it completely you have no idea when you're gonna
Maybe I don't really know what I would do. I mean, I kind of want to say I really like food, so I would probably want to get it. If I'm thinking I'm hungry, I'm probably like, "Ooh, that sounds great. Like, let's have that." And also, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't really go without my children either, and I don't know. It's hard to think that way, Eric, because right now I just feel like every single moment of my life is accounted for. Like this typing session is the most indulgent thing I feel like I've done. It's very selfish and like I don't know, it's weird. Um
It's just 1 hour. If you
yeah,
can't
no,
spend
I
an
know.
hour
I haven't told
kicking
anybody yet, but
around and
I'll
having
tell them.
fun, then, you know.
I know. I don't know if when you have a daughter, Delilah, I saw from the
Mhm.
video.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have more than one, but, like, I don't know if it lasts this way forever, but just the way that they are now, I feel so guilty being away from them, so I don't think I'd go to Taco Bell without them. That's why I'm also saying I would probably kick my husband out of the car if I ever did have the alone time to you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. I have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they're both so loud all the time. So,
When you
sorry if that
say
was
like,
offensive.
let's say you announce today, you know what I think I might like to do today? I might like to take you children to the Natural Science Museum or something
Oh
like
my
that,
gosh,
right?
we have one in our town, yeah.
Um, are you gonna make a point of once you announce it, it is going to happen? Or are you just musing out loud things you might do?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Well,
Cool.
also because, like, they'll tell me no for everything, so they're the boss, I don't know.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay,
Like,
cool.
yeah, it's hard to be decisive. I'm never decisive about stuff anyway.
Okay. Well, that's consistent with, any one or
Mm.
two for sure. That not inconsistent with it at least. So, okay. When you came to this session, did you make sure you were set up in a comfortable chair with a nice drink and stuff before you
Mhm,
sat down for it? Yeah. Okay,
mhm,
cool.
mhm. Yeah.
How do you feel physically right now? Any aches and pains?
Mm, maybe my mouth is, like, a little dry, a little thirsty. I'll have my water, but I'm okay, I'm good. Yeah, I'm cozy.
Okay. How many hours of sleep do you need a night?
Oh my gosh. That's like I don't want to like talk your ear off about that. That's like a story. Probably well a lot more than I get. Yeah, because I still sleep with my kids. I put my 8-year-old to sleep, and then I go into my 4-year-old's room and snuggle with her all night. Like they still want me to do that, or I want to. I don't know. So I don't sleep that much. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm even thinking maybe I have MS or something, but I think it's just that I don't get enough sleep. So
Probably get your sleep cut into by the amphetamines.
that could be. I feel like the amphetamines don't even work.
Yeah, well, they don't. After yeah, it's like what you
Mm.
I don't know how you use them. If you take them as prescribed,
Yeah.
then they are working, but you just won't notice the difference until you stop taking them because you're tired.
Exactly.
You're in a sleep deficit, so you just kind of like getting a little kick from them
I could
back up
fall
to
asleep
normal.
after taking them, basically. Yeah. Like daytime, nighttime, because it just makes me feel awake. I feel like if I wasn't doing it, I would fall asleep. And I guess it helps a little with anxiety too. But I just wanted to be clear with you too about like what might be going on in my head because I don't want to like.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, I won't get misled. I try to ask follow questions to make sure I'm interpreting things correctly.
Sorry if I got
Uh,
off base there. Yeah.
so okay. Do you do the cooking in your house?
I wish that's my dream, but it's usually like heating stuff up because we're always just so disorganized. But I love to. Yes, I want to say yes. I wish I could say yes. That's my ideal self.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your ideal self is an ISFJ.
Oh, my ideal self. I feel like it might be SI aspirational. Like I just that's what I'm trying to get to is this like mecca of just being able to deserve like the coziest house where everyone's so happy, that kind of thing. But I just feel like my
Okay.
thoughts are always all over the place. Yeah.
So let's talk about solving some problem. You've got a problem, namely, there's something wrong with the back door. It won't shut all the way.
Mhm.
You're not sure just because your kid's just enough. Yeah. Oh, the door's broken. Your husband's not home. What do
Mhm.
you do? How do you go about addressing that problem?
Um, well, if it won't close all the way, I'm
Right.
really bad at fixing anything like that. I would probably just keep trying to push it, and maybe check if something was in the way on the hinges or something. But probably just keep trying to push it. And I've had to learn to like not take it too far, or else I'll break it. So yeah.
Okay. Can you break down the task of purchasing a sweater for one of your children online into the optimal number of steps?
Okay. Um, Go on Amazon and do a search for what I'm looking for. Um, and then scroll until I find the one I like and then click the purchase button.
How many steps was that?
Maybe like four,
Yeah,
or I
it
can
was four.
guess something like that.
Yeah. Can
Was that
you
too many
break
steps?
down? I think it was
Yeah.
four. Can you break down the number of steps? Can you break down the task of giving yourself a haircut into exactly 5 steps?
Um, I've seen your typing sessions before. I think you forgot to ask me that. So I just
What?
wanted to confess because you always begin the sessions, but I didn't give you a chance because I like broke in my dramatic crazy way. I'm so sorry. You always say that um you want us to let you know how many we've seen before, and I have seen you ask this question before because I have seen a lot of typing
Okay.
sessions. So
Okay, then let's
haircut?
pick a different task. How about
Okay.
putting away your winter clothes for summer? Break that into 5 steps.
Ugh.
How do you do that? Rachel does that for some reason.
Oh my, that's so wonderful. I want to learn how she should give lessons. um, I guess plop them all in a bin. Uh, um, because they're everything's just mixed up right now. I don't know. So to break them into five. Oh gosh. Um, okay. So you select which clothes seem very hot and like fuzzy and whatever, and then you pluck them from wherever they are and then drop them in the bin. You said into 5 steps?
Yeah, that was 3 so far.
Okay. And then you pick up the bin in your hands. That's the fourth step. And then you walk to said location wherever you're going to store it. And I
Okay,
guess I'm stuck. I can't drop the bin if that's
that's
step number
fine.
6.
That's
Okay.
fine. Do you have an advocacy for improving the public school system? Like, if you were tasked with come up with one thing you could do that would make a difference for the public schools, you had to make a rule, and everybody has to follow.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. That would require a lot of thought. I would love to have that power, but I would have to like think about it for a very long time and confer with other people.
Okay,
Interesting
so
question. Yeah.
I have to demo something now, and then I want you to do an equivalent thing. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull one of these playing cards. I've got the 7 of hearts, the 7 of hearts, the 7 of hearts. It's 7, it's lucky, it's also arts with all these wonderful 7 of hearts. Now I made a little poem about that
Oh,
card. Now you make a little poem about this card.
those are spades, right?
2 of spades, yes.
Okay. Let me think for a minute. Wow. Okay. You just did that on the fly like that. That was impressive. Okay. I enjoy the two of spades. The two of spades She's no old maid. I enjoy the two of spades. How lucky am I to play? Or something like that.
That's great. That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
Uh, okay. Have you seen me ask Inky Pinky questions before?
I have, but they're real. I do find them hard.
Okay.
Um, but so I'll tell you if it's one I've heard.
Okay. Well, I'll make them new ones because you've
Oh,
obviously
great.
watched a few things.
Okay, sure.
Uh, um, a, all right. So this is a bunchy part of a wedding dress and being in a hurry.
Okay.
It's an Inky Pinky.
Ruffle, hustle? No, huffle.
Bustle's
Yep,
right.
kind of
Bus,
ish.
bustle. There's a
What?
word bustle for wedding
I don't
dresses.
know the word bustle though.
Okay, my bad.
Bustle hustle, it would be then.
Yeah.
Bustle. I never heard of that.
It's
I don't
this
know.
old fashioned word for like the bunchy part of a wedding dress. All
Got
right.
it. Okay, I should have known that.
I know it because I've been married now. This is my third marriage, so I've been through
So
several
you've seen
weddings.
bustles, lots of bustle hustles. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a different one. This is a warm weather top. I'm sorry, cold weather top made out of cheese. It's an Inky Pinky.
Hmm. Okay, sweater cheddar.
Right. So you're pretty good at these. Can you make up one for me?
Sure. Let's see. Wait, what if there's one that I've made up in my head before? Am I allowed to use it or should I make it off on the
Yeah.
fly?
Well, yeah, unless you've told me before.
Well, but it's cheating though in that I don't
Yeah,
have to
you're right. No,
think.
you're right. You're right. Make up a new
Okay.
one, sure.
Yeah, yeah. And okay. See, I have to look around the room a little bit. Okay. How about a little corner in which you like to read literary
Bookmark.
objects?
Cool. All right. Good. Let me ask you some TI questions. If some people don't logic good and nobody who don't logic good score good on tests,
Oh goodness, this
then,
is hard.
then is it the case
Wait,
that some people don't score good on math
I would just
tests?
be guessing you lost me actually. I need to think.
Okay, let me give you an easy one to start out with here. If all books are brown
Mhm.
and no things that are brown are water, is it the case that is it possible that any book be water?
Okay, so if all books are brown, you said, right? And if no thing that is brown is water, do I have it right so far? Or can you not tell me?
Yeah, so far. So
So
far. And
far it's
then the
right.
last
Okay.
question is is it possible that there is a book that's water?
Okay. If all books are brown and no things that are brown are water, it's possible that there is a book. See, this is just hard. Can I write it down? Don't give up on me. I want to get it. Can I
Sure,
write it?
right.
I just keep on forgetting the sequence of. Okay, wait.
If
All
all
books are
books are
brown.
brown and
Yes.
no
No thing.
brown things are water, is it possible that there is a book out there that is water?
Wait. I just have to write it down. No, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank goodness. That took a long time. Sorry.
That's fine. If only
I don't think I would be able
Swedish,
to repeat them.
if only Swedish people make meatballs, and I am Swedish, do I necessarily make meatballs?
No,
Okay,
not
good,
necessarily. Yeah.
correct. All right, let's try one more of these. If no squirrels eat fish and I don't eat fish, am I necessarily a squirrel? Correct. All right, let me ask you a couple of genealogy questions. Can you tell me who your father's father's only stepdaughter, I mean, only daughter-in-law is? Your father's father's only daughter-in-law.
Only daughter-in-law or daughter?
Daughter-in-law.
Okay, fathers, so grandfathers. Only daughter-in-law would be my mother.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, well, you're definitely not TI polar. We can eliminate ENFP, ESFP.
Mm-hmm.
Your NE is quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you say you struggle with the inky pinkies, if you've watched other people actually struggle with them, then you know that you're not. That's not struggling.
Okay.
Let me ask you the invention question. I got a new invention. I'd like you to come up with some snappy marketing names for it. Okay. It's like those command strips that you put on your wall to hang things up with that stay really
Oh,
firmly.
okay.
Okay, but they're for your cheeks. And they've got
Oh,
little hooks that you can hang things on, like your earrings or
oh my
you
gosh.
put a cigarette there or whatever.
Oh, that's convenient. Yeah. Hmm.
So we need some snappy names for this new invention of mine.
Ooh. Okay, so the main purpose though is going to be that you want to hang stuff off of it.
Yeah, it's a place to keep things. So you can
Okay.
put your little,
Okay.
yeah, it's got some hooks on there, little, maybe a teeny little drawer.
Oh, fun. Okay. Um, and this one, it's not an Inky Pinky, so it doesn't have to rhyme, right? But just some snappy names.
Yeah, just some
Okay.
snappy marketing names.
Mm, okay. Oh, that's kind of fun. Um, like let's get cheeky or um, hmm. So to put stuff in. Okay, storage cheeks. Oh, chipmunk cheeks, like some kind of a what do you call it when you have to add something to it? Like a robot, not robot, but
Right, cyborg.
yeah, no, I don't know if that's what I was thinking. But like a synthetic. Okay, so it's like we'll say the chip or kangaroo pocket, um, cheek cheekockets. I don't know. Try to no,
I
these are
like
not very
chickpockets. I
good.
like chickpockets a lot.
Yeah, combine the words. Pock chic. No wait. Should I think of more? These are not good. So
No, that's
they
funny.
would.
That's good. The fact that you're just sort of rolling with it is indicative of both conscious and I'm very feeling increasingly confident on second slot because
Yeah.
you're not an ENTP and you're not an ENFP. You're not an INTP. So
That's interesting because I thought you were going to think I was an ENFP, so it's interesting you're able to tell that because I don't think
it's
I'm an
because of the
ENFP.
TI score. The way you deal with the TI question, it's ENFPs would not be able to do that.
Oh wow, yeah, I was pushing myself. Thank you.
But
I don't think I'm FE
I
though,
I
but
don't
we'll
type
talk.
a
We'll
lot
see.
of I don't type a lot of ENFPs, so I don't have a lot of
Mm,
examples of them
that's
avoiding TI
interesting.
questions. But they do avoid the TI questions, so they'll be like, "Well, that kind of black and white thinking is, I'm
Mm,
not really go for that." They just kind of
Right.
just avoid it,
They'll find a way around it. Yeah, give you some
Uh,
kind of a look or something.
You're way too good for polar. 8 slot TI in INFTs especially is
Mhm.
way better than 7 slot TI. Now
That's interesting.
I do not find the same thing to be the case really with say 8 slot SI and 7th slot SI. They both seem pretty weak. But
Yeah, I don't
maybe
think
it's because
that's
it's an
I've always
introverted
wondered about
function.
that.
I think it
Yeah,
might be
they're
because
all
it's an introverted
different.
function. So I can't see as obviously the difference in
Hmm,
skill level.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
PI is introverted, but it's a deliberation function about externalities, right? About words that we can all reference equally. So once we agree on what was said, you could write that down and we could reference it. And,
Yes.
it's like PI requires that kind of externalization to be correct. So it's
That's a
much
good way of
easier to
describing
test,
it.
even though it's
Yeah.
also introverted.
It's helpful. The way that you've described TI has helped me before. Thank you for that. Yeah. Like you're the only one that actually makes such real sense about this. And the TITE thing, I really appreciated your explanations. I thought I got it before, but I didn't.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
mean, it took me a long time to kind of nail down, like, well, not really nail down, but like get rid of bullshit. Because there's so much bullshit out there.
It's always like deceptively simple too, where you can read it the first time and just be like, oh, okay, I think I get it. Even if it's not bullshit, sometimes you can think you get something, but then sometimes you don't really know a function until you really bump into it. Like for real, if that makes sense. I don't know
Well,
if
I
some
mean,
of your functions you only experienced. Yeah.
I don't feel like I understand functions until I have good concrete examples of an instance where I attended via this versus an instance where I attended via the other kind of that. So like I've got examples
Right.
of how being an SI conscious person means sometimes I'm a dunce about NI. So I've got my potato
Mhm.
touch story where I tried to prevent the waiter from touching my potato and only later realized I ordered rice pilaf because I was remembering what I had come in thinking about when you get a dinner at this place to give you a potato. I'd seen the waiter touch the potato before. I didn't like that. Don't
Oh, so
touch
you just
with
got
your
confused almost. You sort of
what?
confused
What I
yourself.
think. I normally got breakfast at this restaurant, right? But I
Yeah.
thought I had the counter so I could see what the waiters were doing with the potatoes that go with the dinners.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a 24-hour place. You could get breakfast 24 hours. I always got breakfast. But one time I went in there and got dinner, and I had thought every previous time, like, hey, if you ever get dinner, pay attention and make sure they don't touch your potato too much. So I'm sitting right there at the counter, I can see it, right? And
Yes.
so then I order a dinner, and I got eagle eye out
That's
waiting
funny
to
that they
see
were just
my
touching your
potatoes
potato
coming
like
out.
that.
But I actually asked me, like, you want baked potato or rice pilaf? And I said rice pilaf, but I didn't
Yeah.
update my
You didn't
reality, right?
update it. Exactly. It's funny. And it's almost like a little PTSD-ish. Like, I mean, I know that you didn't update your reality, but maybe in a sense that's what like PTSD is too, is you just get this visceral sense, like a felt sense in your body without the correct cognition or something like that.
But I
You were
mean, the
triggered.
thing is, if you think about the other way of knowing, it's intuiting, being open to receiving actively changing realities from the now. And knowing
Yeah.
what that means, like reading the fact that this guy's walked into this restaurant and he's looking really shady and suspicious. He might be about to rob this place or something like that, right?
Right,
That's
right, right.
SI is following along with what it had planned coming in. So um if I'm SI, I'm not noticing the guy walking in looking shady. I'm busy telling my lunchmate a long, boring story about what I did that morning.
Yeah. So innocent,
So
but boring.
like for NI, then another example I have for that to help distinguish it is one time I was driving the car trying to go someplace, and I had put a sticky note on the dashboard telling me where I was going. Right, so it's like it was right there in front of me.
Right.
But as I was driving the freeway, and this happens all the time, because I don't pay that much attention to like thinking about where I'm going. Then start driving like, well, where am I going again? It happens all the time. This happens
Right.
then, and I thought, where am I going again? And I thought back in my memory to when I left the house and when I sat down and what I wrote on the post-it note. And then I remember where I was going. And
Oh,
then I
I've
realized,
done that before
wait a
too.
second, the post-it note is right in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm SI, so I think back to when I left the house, what was I plan? Where was I planning on going? Right?
Okay. And then the Post-it note was right there. So
Was
that
right
was
on the
the
dashboard.
order.
I put it there. That putting it there is like, okay, that's SE to allow me to
Okay.
be SENI, but I'm not SENI. So I'm not
Yes.
looking at my dashboard and noticing the post-it notes right in front of me.
Right. You kind of already have this reality in your head. Would you say that's sort of like the metaphysical realm or something? It just
It's just the
imprinted
difference
there.
between an SI conscious person like me or you and an NI conscious person who does not spend their time. If they want to know where they don't, I don't know, Rachel never seems to have that experience of like, where are we going again? She seems to know where we're going. But
I
I
think
think
maybe it's
that's,
because we're not attached to really where we're going, perhaps.
well, I mean, that's possible, but it's also because I'm probably yammering on about something. So it's
Okay.
like,
Yeah, and I'm
I,
probably
I
thinking
say,
about something.
we're going to the store. Now, before let's get in the car because I'm busy telling you about something. And then I forget all about
But
where
I
we're
guess it
going.
is the NE for you, isn't it? Right?
And then you done, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
then
you're talking
I
about
just
something that's not right there and, totally pertinent to the
wait, I'll
now.
just ask Rachel at some point, like, wait, where are we going? She'll always tell me where we're going. Because she's not, she doesn't have like, I've been thinking about this thing all morning, and
Mhm.
I'm now going to unload my SI
Oh,
memory about all these things I've been thinking about. She
okay.
might, if she's troubled by something she watches, she comes directly out to me and says, "I don't like what this video said." You know,
I don't think I'm even really in touch with that's interesting. So she's just so I envy that and I love that like she can just know right there how she feels and she's ready to verbalize it and make it real
well, she
that
doesn't
way.
know how she feels. She doesn't know how she feels, but she knows what her intuition is telling her about
But
the
she doesn't
external
like
world.
it. Okay. Wow.
So,
Yeah, the
no, what
external
I'm
world
saying
is
is,
so subtle. I want to bring the external world a little more into my view. It's hard to see it sometimes.
well, I mean, it's also the case that Rachel spends a lot of time just looking at her phone. She's on her phone all the time because that's
Right.
also an NI thing. She's
Mhm.
knowing what things mean that she reads or watches rather than experiencing something. Like if you want to learn something with your SI, you do it with repetition. If you want to
Mm.
know something with your NI, you read something and just rock the takeaway from it. It's like I know that the lady who sang the national anthem, she claims that she was drunk when she sang it. That's why it was so terrible, and now she's in rehab. But my intuition says it's possible that she said that shit because it was less bad than her
Mhm.
tanking the. It's less
Mhm.
bad for her to have a substance abuse problem than for her to tank the national anthem that badly without having an
Well, you're
excuse.
saying that that's an example. You saying, but my intuition says that in
That's
fact
it,
it was.
intuition, right? I don't have any way of
But
knowing
but wait, would
really
that be
what
NE or
happened.
NI? That's NE though that you're saying
That's
that maybe
NI.
it's not what she. Oh, that's
That's NI.
NI.
I don't have any way of knowing what actually happened. I know
Mm.
that she apparently performed that national anthem terribly. And then the next day she said, I was drunk and I'm going into rehab. So those are things I know from
Oh
SI.
yeah, that's totally an excuse.
I read those specific things from SI. That's my SI knowledge. I read that in the
So SI
headline.
knowledge is just like, what exactly is that? Can you help me with that? So the
Well,
SI knowledge right there.
it's
Why do
a
you call it
perfect
SI knowledge?
example. It's a perfect example. The SI knowledge is what I read and remember from reading.
Okay,
This
okay.
lady
The
fucked
story.
it up. This lady then said she was drunk, and this lady then went into rehab. I remember
Okay.
those details from what I read. That's SI. My intuition knows that might just be bullshit.
Oh yeah. Okay. But SI with your intuition right there. You're saying you're using SI and NI right there, not SI and NE?
I'm using SI to understand what the thing
To
I read
remember.
said and remember it,
Right,
right?
right.
But I'm using my knowing intuition. That you could say I'm using expert intuition because I'm saying it's possible it's this or
That's
that.
what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was going to. Okay.
However, let's pretend I'm saying, no, my intuition is telling me I know for sure. That's just an excuse.
Oh, okay,
And
to have that
unconscious
confidence
people,
behind it.
and unconscious
Yeah.
people know like that because that's their way of knowing.
Oh, I would never feel that way about anything.
That's because
Okay.
your NI fixed, which is countervalued. You
Yeah. Oh my
you're
goodness.
good at NIing. So in other words, you're good at that part of NE where you come up with other things that you might know it to be, right? So like,
Okay.
I they say this speech that they're giving is not racist, but I know that it's secretly racist. They're talking about, you know,
Okay, yeah,
people
I'd probably
living
be
on
able
the
to do
wrong
that.
side of town.
Sure.
They're talking about the wrong
Right,
side of the
right.
tracks, but they're not
Yes,
actually
yes,
using
yes.
race stuff, but you know anyway that it's racist.
Okay, right. But I would never, it would take a lot, I think, for me to like really wear that on my sleeve that I maybe would question it next or
Because you
something like
think in general probably that people knowing too conclusively certain specific meanings that they can't actually deductively,
that.
prove
Right.
and shit is reckless as a reckless way of knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at it maybe a little bit like haughty or um I don't know, like the sort of the true believer function a little bit. Um do you find that NI people are more religious?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, or
I find
spiritual.
that Rachel's an IDOM, but she's the least subjective type of all INFJ. They've got
Mhm.
their relationship with FI is like your relationship with NI. They don't trust it. They don't think it should be used recklessly, right?
Okay.
And their
Oh, that's
relationship with
good. That's cool to know. Okay.
SI is like your relationship with TI, which is to say, it's very
Okay.
unconscious. And when you use it in your day to day goings about things, you won't make note that you've used it or remember having used it. That's what makes it the
Um,
most unconscious.
okay, okay. Right. That's so interesting. Yeah.
So for her, those two subjective functions as an NI-DOM,
Mhm.
FI and SI, are both very bad. And so as a consequence, one thing she's trying to know is herself from
Mhm.
external things. She wants to watch a video about
Um,
her tri type so that she can understand who she is,
I
about her
see.
personality type, or even just about her astrology or numerology or anything that some external thing that doesn't link to her actual
Right.
personal experience is supposed to tell her who she is.
Okay. To sort of plant her in time a little for herself.
Well, it's just because without any valuing of her subjective feelings, emotions,
Right.
and without hardly any consciousness of her SI, her experience or her how her body is telling her like, oh, this hurts, I should stop doing it. Like, she's very unconscious and stuff like that too.
Mm.
Um, so instead of those things, she uses external clues to know stuff about herself that you or I would always use our
Um,
subjective experience to know. So
um,
she likes to know that she and I are compatible in a relationship because of some astrology thing.
oh,
Even though,
wow.
even though all she needs to do is actually check our day-to-day experience and see that we're
Yeah.
extraordinarily
That's so
compatible.
funny. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I guess that's why I maybe link it a tiny bit to spirituality because it does seem sort of knowing in that way that there's this
It's
external
woo-hoo.
a little bit, yeah. Which
I
I
don't know if
mean,
I
that
call
would
it
be lovely if
spiritual
it was
because,
real, but it almost seems overly optimistic sometimes to just think something would be that simple, I guess. Yeah.
she NI-DOMs, but especially beta quadra, all your NI, TI, FE, SE people, they they want the takeaway. They want the timing, the moment to take an action on something. They want
Mhm.
to they don't need to know everything. They just need to know what's most relevant, right? So if they can do that and they have clarity in that regard, then they can be, it can serve them very, very well. It's just, it's a
Mhm.
very different epistemology than you or I use.
Oh, that's so fascinating. It really is. I'm always torn with my sister of what she is. I'll have to have her get typed by you.
You typed yourself correctly. I'm very
I
sure you're
think,
not going to
yeah, I mean, she also gets it on tests, but we'll see. I don't know. She's sort of my polar opposite. I think that probably there's a lot of range in INFPs, because I think that it sort of depends on what the FI values are. Someone could have particular
Right.
values that governs their whole lineup, and then someone else's values make them act totally differently and judge things
INFPs
totally
are the
differently.
most subjective types because they have not only FI as dominant function, SI as third, but those two are absolute values that are conscious. And then
Hmm.
the other absolute value that's very strong but unconscious is FE. And
Mm.
then
Hmm.
the and then your last absolute value that is also very unconscious is SE.
Is Essie really? Is Essie being in the now, like being in the moment kind of thing?
SE is executing stuff. So
Oh,
you have a
yeah.
lot of ideas, right?
Thanks.
The time when you pick one of those ideas to actually do, that's SE.
Yes. It was such a miracle that I contacted you. That's like the most Essie thing I think I've ever done.
But and it's like you wanted to get it resolved right now because you only have a little bit of SE to spend, right?
Well, and also because you're so important. You're just so wise. Like this is so important. And I don't know. I also just think that yeah, just the work you're doing and this type of thing is just so fascinating. So I think for sure my FI was probably driving this of just like needing to do this. This is the special, special thing I want to do.
But you're
Thank you.
definitely showing me the other side of being supervised because you're supervising me and saying you have scored high marks on my checklist,
A
which
million
is
percent.
not what you normally expect from a supervising experience, right?
It's interesting. Well, and so, yes, please know that. Just please know that, okay? That you're so brilliant and so kind. Your core is so good. Please stop hating yourself. Don't ever say that. Like, it just, you
Okay,
make me
I will do
smile.
my
Like, this
best.
isn't, I'm usually like really quiet. And I was worried you were going to think I'm an ENFP or like a ESFJ or something because I'm all like, but I just really adore you. I think you're a wonderful person. So
Well,
thank you for
thank you so
everything.
much,
Thank you
Mariel
so
Gold.
much. Sure. And I, in the future, if I ever want to like ask you questions or something, I can use PayPal again and maybe schedule like a session where I have maybe follow-up questions because I would
Sure,
love to know some things about like maybe, I don't know. I just have my own little theories and stuff I wanted to that are based on yours that I wanted to like see if they were
sure,
correct. Um,
absolutely. That's totally fine.
okay, so you can
Well,
do calls
more
even if
or
they're
less,
not typing. Yeah,
yeah, more or less. If you buy an hour, you use it how you want. I'll talk about whatever in whatever fashion
I
you want.
like that. Okay, so that's the process. Sounds good. I guess, and we might be way over time, but did you have any like little tips on just what I should do to self improve? Because at the end of the day, I just like the real reason I want to do this too is I just want to be a good person. I want to make sure I'm like there for my kids. I just sort of feel a little guilty if I'm just, I don't know. There are just certain things like my child graduated from second grade and he was the only one not wearing like the appropriate shirt because I just, you know what I mean? Like couldn't remember. And it was just so
You know what?
obvious.
I don't know how much you have to worry about that, but it depends how much your kid worries about it. If your kid is like, "Oh, I got out of the right side," then you should be a little bit
He's not
guilty.
worried about it at all, yeah, but I guess just, like, any tips on just how I could self-improve or be what function maybe I should look at first or something, or
And I mean, here's the thing about improving yourself. It's like
I just don't wanna be lazy or selfish. I want my loved ones my thing is I just want my loved ones to know
you'll
that
never
they're
be
great, and
selfish.
I don't want them to forget I love them.
You'll never be selfish. That's not in your nature. You will always be lazy. because that is your nature.
So
And,
maybe it's hard,
and
maybe I conflate them, but aren't they kind of the same? I
the
don't
best
know.
way to improve yourself is to tell yourself there's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfect the way I am, unless I
Well,
fuck up
you
one
should say,
night.
yeah.
Unless I
Ugh,
fuck up.
I hope
The
so.
problem
Well,
is
you
I
should
keep
say that about yourself
accounting all my
too.
past fuck ups. I don't fuck up that much anymore, right? Occasionally I do. Like this nice
Mm.
guy called me on the phone a couple of weeks ago. Um, he had been in the live stream a lot, but he called me on like a bad day of like 2 days out from running out of Adderall. So I was like, just like grumpy,
Uh-oh.
didn't want to do anything. Don't even know why I
Yeah.
answered the phone. Didn't recognize the number.
Aw.
Was rude to the guy on the phone. Obviously, like hurt his feelings somewhat. I haven't seen him since.
Oh
And I
no.
feel really
Oh.
guilty about it, you know?
Oh, you said you feel guilty about it?
Yeah, because
Aw.
he was being very nice, but he just caught me at a moment where I was just like, you
Right.
know,
Oh,
in my
it's never too
in
late.
my
You could just send him a
feelings.
text and say, "Sorry, I
Yeah,
was
that's
out of
true.
Adderall."
That's true. That's true.
I'm sure he's
Yeah.
not thinking about it. And if he knows who you are at the core, then he's not offended, you know? He could put it in context of
He
everything else.
doesn't. I don't think he's FI. Okay.
Okay.
Good thing you're doing there. I'm guessing this is an FI assessment.
Wait, I just didn't hear that. I'm so sorry. What? One more time?
I said, I'm guessing this is an FI assessment you're making of me.
Oh, just that you're wonderful kind of thing?
That I have a good core, like
You
I'm a
do.
good
No,
person
but
or whatever.
well, I've
I
watched
think
so many of
that
your
your
videos.
FI is informing you about me in a way that an FI backstack person wouldn't really
Oh,
get.
gotcha. Okay. I hope you didn't feel like supervised by me or anything like that. That would make me sad.
No, I mean, even if I, to the extent that I can frame certain things as relevant supervision, it's just pleasing to me because I like it when things line up like they're supposed to. You know,
Oh, well, you're a gem, a treasure, and you're magical. So just stay who you are. You're a loving, kind person, and you're just brilliant, brilliant. And don't
well,
worry, you could
thank
never
you
be
so
mean.
much.
Even if you
Yeah.
said mean, crazy things, like your core is obvious. It's clear. You're wonderful. And thank you for all you do. And say hi to Rachel and your kitty cat and everything. And I'm going to contact you again because I want to refer people to you. And I also um, have a lot of questions. So I'm sure I took more time than I deserved. I'm sorry. I can't even see.
No, don't worry about it. I'm gonna push
Okay.
stop recording now. I'll share this video with you privately in about a couple of hours. It takes to process.
Oh my gosh, it's fine. Take your time. Thank you.